Juniper Mae, Knight of Tykotech City by Sarah So. Welcome to Tykotech City, a marvelous place surrounded by a deep, dense forest. Here, the impossible is possible. And it's all thanks to Tykotech Corp. Many years ago, Tykotech Corp invented the core, an energy source to power the whole city wirelessly. Never again would the city folk need to wander into the dangerous forest for resources. But now something was horribly wrong with the core. Tykotech Core scientists raced to find a solution to the power cuts before the city was plunged into darkness. But nothing seemed to be working. President Kozin, the head of Tykotech Corp, wanted them to expand their search to the forest. But dangerous beasts were said to roam there, and no one had ventured beyond the walls for as long as anyone could remember. Little did they know that the solution to their problems lay in the hands of a small girl, one who tinkered away in her room all day, using spare parts from her dad's repair shop to invent all sorts of useful things. The totally instantaneous Toaster 2000, the phenomenal floating fishbowl, the sensational snug socks, self-heating in just a few seconds, and waterproof too. This was Juniper Mae. Every morning she looked out at Tykotech Tower from her window, dreaming of one day working there as a great inventor. And when she wasn't inventing, she was reading her favorite fables about legendary warriors who protected the city from danger. One day, while working on her most complex construction yet, Juniper overheard her dad and grandpa talking. "I'm just saying, a girl her age should have friends." "Are you kidding? Your girl's got a gift." "I just worry about her, that's all. She's so shy." In her fables, the mightiest heroes all relied on each other, but Juniper told herself that she didn't need friends. Her creations were enough. That night, while Dad and Grandpa were sleeping soundly, Juniper was adding the finishing touches to the JuniJet, a high-velocity jetpack with a miniaturized hyperdrive. "Okay, successfully accessed the core. Hyperdrive fully charged. Time for test 1.0. Ah!" The young inventor's trajectory calculations must have been way off, and as the handling module went haywire, she realized she was farther from home than she'd ever been and heading towards the looming darkness of the forest. And then, out of nowhere, the core's power cut out, and Juniper fell down and down and deeper down. Juniper shivered and she looked around the spooky trees. How was she going to get home? The JuniJet was busted beyond repair, and she was very lost and... Rustle, rustle. Don't come any closer, beast. "Hey, who are you calling a beast?" This wasn't one of the fearsome monsters the city folk feared stalked the trees. In fact, if anything, he was kind of cute. Juniper was amazed at the tiny creature. It was small, had a little shell, and big orb-like eyes. "You're from that shiny city beyond the trees. Us Tamatamas haven't gone past the trees for a long, long time. I've always dreamed of going ever since I was a hatchling. You want to see the forest? I'm the best tour guide in the land." So you're not going to eat me?" "I eat bugs and worms. You're not trying to steal our cabbages?" "Actually, I'm lost. I need to get back home." "Then you've come to the right Tamatama. I have an ancient artifact that could help. Follow me." As they plodded along, the creature explained that his fellow Tamatama stayed away from humans. Humans had pitchforks and torches and were always angry, but he'd always wanted to see the shiny city beyond the trees. "Can you take me with you? I know you'll want to owe me after this. I'm Albie, by the way." I'm Juniper. Albie did indeed know the forest very well. He steered Juniper clear of the hugging vines and sinking mud. And just as her feet started to feel sore and tired, Juniper noticed a warm orange glow emerging from the foliage. Albie parted the bushes to reveal a whole village filled with tamatamas, young and old, and not a beast in sight. How do these orange things work? Do you use a central energy source to power them? The cabbage seeds? We grow them in the cabbage fields, obviously. Albie led a wide-eyed Juniper past the staring tamatamas to his hut. There he showed her the artifact that he'd been talking about. It looked just like something a warrior would wield in one of her fables. Albie explained that it was a great sword, used by the Guardian Knights eons ago. You mean people like this actually existed? Are you kidding? You don't know about the Guardian Knights? Their story has been passed down from tamatama to tamatama. Long ago, the Guardian Knights protected both humans and tamatamas from the beasts of the forest. They were true warriors at heart, strong, courageous, and bold, sworn to aid both peoples if they were needed. Eventually, the beasts were all vanquished, and the knights disbanded. There was no need for brave warriors anymore, and the humans and tamatamas grew apart until the city folk forgot about us completely. Everyone always tells me to stop going on about it, but I just know the Guardian Knights will come back one day. There are loads of Guardian Knight artifacts scattered throughout the forest, like this map of the city and this sword. You should have them, Junie. Say, Albie, if you take me back to the city, you can sleep over in my house if you want. As they headed homeward, Juniper's mind raced with countless questions. Could the Guardian Knights really have existed? What made this mysterious cabbage seed glow? Soon enough, Albie led Juniper to the familiar lights of the city that she called home. The next morning, Juniper was so excited she couldn't sit still. Could the Guardian Knights return? Their bravery amazed Juniper. She was astounded that they protected both the city folk and the tamatamas from such deadly beasts. So she started to imagine how it would feel to be one herself, to protect the city and bring everyone together once more. And after a morning of hard work, she had it. Guardian Knight Battle Armor, Juniper Edition. A Guardian's Greatsword 2.0. Laser blade ignites to scramble machinery and transfer energy with a single slice. Tough metal breastplate, comfortable and built to protect against propulsive blasts and melee attacks. Knightly knee pads, protects knees from scrapes and grass stains. Utility wristband, built-in holographic display and high-intensity size-altering function for the gadgets stored inside. Everything needed for quick inventing. Red berry boots, minuscule springs in the soles enable faster running and higher jumping. That afternoon, Juniper showed Albie all around the city, telling him what every sign meant, what every building was for, and where every cyber train came from. For the rest of the day, Juniper and Albie hung out while the young inventor figured out how the cabbage seeds worked. It took her several hours, but eventually, she had created a cabbage seed energy source. Just one drop could wirelessly power all of her inventions. Perhaps she could show it to President Cozen at Tykotech Corps, and she'd be the youngest inventor. Suddenly, a dreadful rumbling began to shake Mae's repair shop. It grew louder and louder, and the shaking got harder and harder. Juniper's heart leapt. Was the cabbage seeds' power going haywire? But then she saw them. A swarm of metal monstrosities scuttling towards the city. She didn't know where they came from, but all of a sudden they were everywhere, climbing walls and terrifying city folk. Juniper watched from her window in horror as they advanced to the core. The insectoids dug their claws into the city's power source and sucked all the power from the core. These evil bugs must have been draining the city of power this whole time and causing the awful power cuts. There was only one thing for Juniper to do. They're headed to the forest. No, they're not. The beasts are gone. These bugs are something else and we can stop them. The legends are true. They're the beasts. In the chaos, nobody listened. She knew that she would have to face the insectoids herself. Lucky for Juniper Mae, one of the insectoids had left something behind, and Albie was there to help. Only one tree in the forest has leaves like this. Juniper could barely believe her eyes. One by one, the insectoids were transferring the core's energy into an intricate machine. Whoever they were, they had stolen all the city's power and were keeping it for themselves. She had to stop them. Stop! Juniper Mae, I had a feeling you'd show up. To Juniper's surprise, she recognized the daughter of President Kozin, Kaya Kozin. Why would the president of Tykotech's core's daughter steal the energy from the core? From everyone in the city? It made no sense. I've been watching you ever since you crash-landed here, Kaya said. We're similar, you and I. You see, my mom and I used to do everything together. But then the core's power cuts started. The stupid outages kept happening, and she got so busy trying to fix them that she forgot to spend any time with me. I felt so lonely and unwanted. I started spending all day in my room inventing things just like you do. And now I have all the city's power. I'll give it right back to them, claiming I've invented a new power source. I'll be the hero. My mom will be proud, and I'll never be lonely again. Lying and stealing isn't the way to make your mom proud of you, Kaya. It's wrong. Ha! She'll think I'm a hero. I was lonely too. I used to think that all I needed was my inventions. But what I needed was a friend to share my inventions with. And now I do. You can too. You don't have to feel alone. You don't need friends. You're a genius like me. I bet you'd love to work at Tykotech Core with the city's best inventors, wouldn't you? I can make that happen in an instant, Kaya continued. All you have to do is go back home and forget what you've seen here. What do you say? It was all Juniper had ever wanted. If Kaya hadn't been the cause of the power cuts, Juniper could find a way to solve them herself. Kids from all over would want to be her friend then. But that would mean letting Kaya Kozin get away with her crimes. Could Juniper really allow that to happen? Then she saw her new friend's fearful little face. She remembered that the Guardian Knights defended the Tamatamas and city folk from all danger, and Kaya was dangerous. No, I am a true warrior at heart, a Guardian Knight, and I'm going to protect my city. A sword? But I have the core's power. I don't need the core to stop you. Bugbots, get her. For the shiny city! Inspired by his friend, Albie pounced on the distracted Kaya and wrapped her tightly with a hugging vine. Whoa. Juniper and Albie were very proud of each other. They'd been just as bold and strong as Guardian Knights. But there was still one problem. How were they going to get the core's power back to the city? Reusing Kaya's machinery, Juniper began to build. With Albie's help, she managed to assemble a device to store the core's power, a containment orb for Kaya, and a sparkling new JuniJet V2.0. As they jetted off, Albie shut his eyes and clung to Juniper at first, but soon realized he loved the feeling of the wind whizzing past him. Juniper was in complete control this time, dipping and diving through the city with ease. But as they approached the core, her face grew serious. They had a city to save. The young inventor knew she had only one shot. She had to get this right. Her heart was beating so hard she could hear its pounding over the roar of the Junie jet. She readied the built-in slingshot and aimed for the center of the core. Tykotech City blossomed into light once more, and Juniper and Albie sighed with relief. As the pair flew over the city folk danced and cheered below them, delighted to have the power back. They'd done it. They'd totally saved the day. Settling the Cozen family mansion as its destination, Juniper turned on the autopilot on Kaya's containment orb. As it glided off, Juniper hoped there was still a chance Kaya and her mom could work things out. Is the city anything like you thought it'd be, Albie? Better. But then Juniper's heart sank as she thought of her dad and grandpa worrying about her at home. They hadn't seen her since before the Bugbot invasion. Juniper Mae, we were worried sick about you. What are you wearing? Do you have any idea? Wait, who is this? My, what a strange little creature. Hi. Although he was worried about all the dangerous situations Juniper had gotten into, Mr. Mae couldn't help but be proud of his daughter, and he was very fond of her new friend. Albie, on the other hand, was pleasantly surprised that these humans greeted him with tea rather than pitchforks. He found himself feeling right at home with the Mae family. Even though no one knew Juniper Mae had saved the city, she didn't care. She could feel the spirit of the Guardian Knights coursing through her, filling her with a boldness and confidence she never felt before. Since Kaya hadn't been the cause of the core's mysterious powder cuts, Juniper knew that this adventure had only been the beginning. But most importantly, she couldn't wait to explore the forest and invent exciting new gadgets and gizmos with her new friend, who saw her for her. Meanwhile, at the Cozen family mansion, a surprise package landed on the president's doorstep. She had no idea who had left the note, but the guilty look on her daughter's face told her it was the truth. That night, a grumpy, grounded Kaya had a visitor. The inventor girl, she has her own power source. She stopped me. For a moment, there was a long silence. Then Kaya felt a cold shiver run down her spine as a deep, gravelly voice spoke up. It doesn't matter. Everything is going exactly as I planned. Juniper Mae, Knight of Tykotech City.